Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!
Welcome, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends to Spoiler Sleepover, Season 3, the Season of Suffering. Suffer along with your co-hosts Jason, Michael, and Rob as they watch and review some of the worst films to ever hit the screen. Now, enjoy the show. It'll be a real scream of a time.
What the fuck did we just watch? Welcome back, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends to Season 3, Season of Suffering. And as of last week's roll, we rolled the number 6 for Jason Michael's list and landed on
Frankenstein's Island from 1981. Dude, starting these episodes is going to be so weird.
Yeah.
I know we have to go in very excited and chock full of energy, but after just watching Frankenstein's Island, I just don't know how to feel. Honestly, I feel like I just watched a fever dream.
It was a hallucination. Was it all a hallucination?
God damn it. Okay, so before we get into it, of course, we need to talk about what's been keeping us up at night. Rob. Take it away.
Well, what's been keeping me up at night? I have been reading The Unworthy, which is by the same author that wrote Tender is the Flesh. It's a short book. I should have no issue being done with it at this point, seeing as I picked it up a week ago, but life has been hectic, and I just haven't had time to read, unfortunately. So, I'm about halfway through the book at this point, but it's a novella, basically. It's small. I'm disappointed in myself that I haven't finished it yet, to be completely honest. But yeah, so far so good. I thought the description of the book sounded really interesting, and so I obviously picked it up because I like Tender is the Flesh. I thought it was a great book as well. And the description, I've read it twice, and it didn't come across to me the way I was reading it, what the book actually is.
So
and
the synopsis is a lie.
Well, no. So the book describes the synopsis of the book describes the time period, which is after an apocalyptic fallout. There's a new religion that is born, and it's following this woman and her experiences within this. It's a cult. Let's just call it what it is.
Bad religion.
Oh, good band.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's a terrible religion. There's a lot of abuse, but I didn't realize until I was 20 pages deep into this thing that this entire book is her journal. So it's her writing about her experiences and everything she's witnessing. And I was like, this is fucked. It's so good, but it is a lot of just run-on, rambling, detailed sentences that I'm like, but I dig it for what it is. It reminds me a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's writing, so it's kind
of sounds like some of the writing in today's episode on Frankenstein's Island. Zing!
Jesus Christ. Really? Seriously. I watched Hellboy, The Crooked Man.
Okay.
Which
hang on.
I'm hanging 10.
I've only seen the original Ron Perlman. I think I might have seen the second one with Ron Perlman. but that's a fever dream movie. I tried to watch the one with David Harbour. It's brutal. Like, the scenes are, like, it looks great, but I had to stop it because the acting and the storyline just felt so shit.
Which is wild that you say that, because that movie is written by the creator of the Hellboy comic books. The guy who wrote all of the Hellboy comic books, the BPRD comic books, the Abe Sapien comic books, he wrote the fucking movie. That was my sell point to see it in theaters, because I was like, I have to fucking see this. The dude who created Hellboy created a movie, so we're going to get a comic book.
The kill scenes look fucking brutal. And
yeah, I mean,
here's ripped in half by a giant.
Here's the thing. I've said this multiple times on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. Uh-oh. Marvel movies are for people who have never read a fucking comic book a day in their life. DC movies are for people who read comic books, because they are the comic books. That Hellboy movie is for the readers, because it is the comic books. It's 3 of the different stories rolled into one, which is just fucking beautiful. That's why I love it, and that's why I own it. But this Crooked Man one kind of came out of nowhere, came out of left field. I mean, they literally announced it mid last year.
And now it's here and available everywhere.
Well, they had announced it, and I was like, okay, I'm here for it. They're recasting. I don't care who you cast as Hellboy. I honestly don't care. Just give me a new Hellboy story, and I'm probably sold on it. I love the BPRD comic books. So I was like, all right, yeah, absolutely. I'll go see this in theaters. It sounds great. It's following one single comic that they did a run of. They did a Crooked Man comic book. So I was like, all right, this will be interesting. They changed the story quite a bit, but they still stuck to what this, quote unquote, it's not a cryptid, but they stuck to what it is from the comic. So I thought that was interesting. But what I found really strange was they announced the movie, and then weeks after that, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, it's direct to streaming. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I won't go see it in theaters, because it's not going to be playing in theaters.
Well, fuck me then.
Yeah. So as soon as it got added to Hulu, I was just like, I know what I'm doing tonight, and fucking queued that shit up and watched it. And it was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd because it kept my attention. It was a good story. The
trailer, pretty much, if I remember correctly, watching the trailer, it felt like I watched the movie. It felt like watching a trailer for Fast and the Furious.
And that was how I felt about it too. And I was like, well, all right, at least I know the comic book that it's going to be following. But then I watched it, and they give you what should sell you to watch it, but they don't give you everything. So
okay,
yeah, it made it worth the watch, because again, if you've never read a BPRD comic book, if you've never read a Hellboy comic book, then you're going to be unaware of the fact that most of those comics are backstory. You're finding out about, the main characters more than anything. And then there's the backstory to whatever they're hunting down. It's all storytelling. It's not like Marvel. It's not a Hulk comic book, Hulk Smash or anything like that, which is why, like, granted, I love the Ron Perlman ones. They're great for what they are. But that's Guillermo doing Guillermo as a Hellboy movie, where he's like, I'm going to put so much love and yeah, he's like, I'm going to put
Toro.
Yep, and it shows that it's a Del Toro movie, because if you watch one, you've kind of felt them all. I'm not going to say you've seen them all, but you've definitely felt them all, because all of his movies have a feeling, and he follows through with that with his Hellboy movies, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but those aren't the comic books. The comic books are storytelling. It's very minimal action. And
the second one that's Golden Army or some shit.
Yeah, yep, it's exactly it. The ending's awesome. I love the ending, but it's besides the fact. Anyways, Crooked Man's out there. If you enjoyed the other 3 and you just enjoy the story, especially if you love the third one, I think you'll enjoy this one. It's a very independent film. So there's not well applied prosthetics to the actor playing Hellboy, especially when he turns his head. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I was going to say, he honestly looks like, because Ron Perlman was decently sized for Hellboy. David Harbour got fucking jacked.
Yeah.
And this guy honestly just looks like you went up to David Harbour, poked him with a pin, and let a lot of the air out. Like,
and the funny thing is,
light.
Yeah, and with both of the original movies, the actors are painted.
Yeah.
So they're red. This guy, nope. He's wearing a rubber chest plate. Like and it shows in certain scenes, which was a little disappointing if I'm being completely honest, but for the story, it's worth it in my opinion. Other than that, I watched Ouchie. It's a short film by one of the hosts of Horror Movie Night. He directed it. He did not write it. I've been hearing about it for a while. They talk about it on Horror Movie Night all the time. And it is now officially released for your viewing pleasure on YouTube. So you can just look up Ouchie short film and it is there. It's really good. Not at all what I was expecting, but I really enjoyed it for what it was. And I mean, it's one of those, this is a horror short that with a meaning, which I picked up on pretty quick and I really enjoyed it. So please go out and watch Kyle. I'm not going to say your last name, dude. I am so sorry. I feel like I'll slaughter it, but Kyle's short film Ouchie. It's really good. Other than that, shamefully, I don't know if I'll watch anymore. I'm going to preface with that. My fiance suckered me into watching some trash TV with her by saying, I'm going to pop popcorn, which, by the way, if you want me to sit down and watch anything, say you're going to make popcorn from scratch, and I'll probably sit down with you, to be completely honest. I love popcorn. I started watching 90 Day Fiance. Yeah.
Not what I thought you were going to say. Didn't know what you were going to say. Definitely didn't think it was that.
Yeah. It's why is it entertaining?
Oh my God.
I mean, I get why they've rocked so many fucking seasons of this show, but
you're going to fucking fall into Love Island soon.
The fuck I am. Never. No. I brought myself down my own rabbit hole years back when The Circle came out on Netflix, and I was like, this show looks dumb as fuck. I'm going to watch it, and then got hooked. And I've watched every season except for like the last two because I was just like, I just like the fact that they keep changing the rules. Like, you're like, these are the rules for the show. And you're like, great. And then you get like 6 episodes in and they were like, psych, here's a new rule. And you're like, why would you do that to me?
Wild card, bitches.
Literally. They Charlie Day the fuck out of it. It's redonkulous. But yeah. So that's what's been keeping me up at night. The last one, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what's been keeping me up at night. What about you? What's been keeping you up at night, Jason Michael?
I have finished season 3, which honestly, finishing season 3, realized I don't remember a fucking thing about season 2. Invincible's finale came out, and I was right. We're fucked. We are so fucked.
It's a season finale or a series finale? It's just a season, okay.
Yep, because if you haven't seen the episodes yet, they're all out now. So if you were waiting for that, I know one of my friends was waiting for it. I was like, dude, this fucking episode, holy shit. There's a big bad villain that shows up, and dear sweet Jesus Christ, I had to watch it at work because I couldn't wait to get home. And I'm sitting in like an open room with a window where people can walk by and see me, and my jaw is on the floor, mouth agape, just like, some shit happens, and then at the very end of the episode, you sit there and you go, why? Fucking why? It's just, God damn it, Cecil. Anyway, if you haven't seen Invincible at all, first off, how dare you? What are you doing? Second off, go binge the entire thing because all 3 seasons are available now on Prime. Go watch it. It's a tremendous show. And other than that, I have been watching... I've wanted to watch this for a while, and I know Rob's going to roll his eyes, but hey, we're here for it. Right here, right now, Ghost's live performance at LA, the Kia Forum. I haven't seen them since 2013 when they opened up for Avenged Sevenfold, my first time seeing them.
Good Lord.
I have missed now Papa 3, Cardinal Copia, and Papa 4, which is Cardinal Copia. I've missed 3 different variations, and now that Perpetua is out, that's Papa 5. I'm probably going to buy the tickets to go see them in Boston this summer, because watching that show, dude, I was smiling so much. I was singing along to the words, watching it just at home. And I was like, fuck, man, that seems like such a fun show. So I'm probably going to go see Ghost.
Who are they touring with? Do you know?
For Ghost's 2025 Skeletor World Tour, which kicks off in April of 2025, the openers will vary by location, but some of the bands announced include Mastodon, Spirit Box, and Amon Amarth.
I'm down with the first and the last one.
Yeah, I was going to say, based on your reaction there.
Mastodon would be dope. Well, you let me know. I'll go with you. I'm not a fan of Ghost, but I've seen some of their live performances, and I'm down for a badass show, like one that's like theatrical. I will go. Like, there are bands I do not like that I have seen more than once just because their stage presence is like bonkers good. Yeah, I mean, I just found out that August Burns Red is going back on tour, and nothing in me wants to stand in a crowd and hear those guys pray 6 times over a crowd, but their stage performance is fucking bazonkers, and it's totally worth it, in my opinion. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're going to pray for me this time, but sure, fucking whatever. Yeah, but I'd be down to see Mastodon. I've always wanted to see Mastodon live, so if it's Mastodon, you let me know. I'll go with you. That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah. But yeah, that is what's been keeping me up at night. Definitely let us know what's been keeping you up at night.
Yep.
Again, are you a fan of Ghost? We've had that question so many times. Are you a fan of the Hellboy movies, whether it's the Ron Perlman, David Harbour, or this new guy, which I can't remember his name. It's like trying to remember who replaced Henry Cavill as Superman, but his name's funny enough to remember. Right. It's David Cornsweat. It's also the fact of he looks like Henry Cavill, if you will. He looks like a just smaller version of Henry Cavill. It's funny. Like, when they announced the recast, I was like, oh, that's not the same guy? It's weird.
Yeah,
but
pocket-sized Henry Cavill.
Talk about Superman. Yet.
Not yet.
Wish.com, Henry Cavill. Just comes back with a mustache. Oh my God, wait a minute. But up next, we are talking about a squiggly little thing called earworms. Rob, what you got bubbling in your ears, squirming about?
I'm going to make this super easy. I have been in a very strange mood recently. I've been listening to an obscene, and I mean obscene, amount of ska. I went through like a day and a half where I was just discovering new and different, like, foreign, like, noise and just different artists from around the world. I found this Pakistani duo that does like this really interesting, like, it's like symbol art. So they only use symbols, but they like distort them. I was like, this is wild shit. And then I don't know what happened. I was just sitting there at work one day and Sell Out by Real Big Fish popped into my head. And I was like, I haven't listened to Real Big Fish in a while. And then I put that on. And then it was game over, and I just was like, let me find a really good ska mix on Spotify. And so I've been listening to ska, like, for a week.
I love those moments.
Yeah, it's been good. And rediscovering ska bands that I had completely forgotten, like Bad Manners, which was one of my earworms for the week. I had completely forgotten about that band and was like, yeah, these guys fucking rip. I don't know if a ska band can rip, but if they can, Bad Manners can do it. Yeah, I've been listening to ska just in general. I've been listening to a genre of music for a fucking week. So that'll be fun for our next playlist for the end of season.
You're going to suffer along with this playlist too.
Yeah, right. It's 50% ska. Rob's lost his fucking mind. What's been squiggling in and out of your ear holes this week?
So similar to you, I thought about, and no, this had nothing to do with the Right Here, Right Now, because I watched that after the Earworms. I went through and re-listened to everything Ghost. Went through all the albums and then all the EPs. I did realize something that I feel really bad about. I went back and listened to 1 because I was like, oh man, I miss what Papa 1 sounded like. And then 2. And then I completely skipped 3 and went straight to Prequel. And then started Impera. And I was like, oh shit, I completely missed Meliora. So I stopped, went all the way back, back to Papa 3. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like hearing Sirius again, Mummy Dust, dude, like, I love Ghost. I know you don't. It's understandable. We're always going to differ on this. Listen, I'll listen to the Ghost so you don't have to.
I like the aesthetic. I don't like, honestly, if the vocals were different, I'd probably be a fan. I'm going to say it's just the vocals that do it for me. I don't like the vocals. He's got they, I don't know
it's devised,
if it's all been the same artist, the same vocalist or not, but
it has been.
Okay. I just don't, it's not for me, the vocals, but I love the aesthetic. I love that they also love Satan like I do. So
Hail Santa.
Hey, Hail Santa. It's good stuff for that much.
Said, I figured I texted you this, but I'm going to share it. During my week and listening to specifically, and I can never pronounce this fucking album, their second album with Papa 2, Infestasm or whatever it's called. I feel like I just nailed it, but who knows?
Probably.
The song called Year Zero, where it starts with chanting of different names of Satan.
Yep.
And then the chorus is Hail Satan, welcome Year Zero. And from work, I borrowed a megaphone, and I've been having fun because, you know, when you get bored on your long drives to and from work, you talk to yourself or you just talk at people and scream at people with their stupid fucking driving. So I'm using this megaphone and driving down the backwoods of the New Hampshire roads and seeing several churches along the way while blasting Year Zero and screaming Hail Satan into a megaphone. And of course, it was a very lovely day, so my windows were down.
And this is one of many reasons why we're friends.
Hell yeah. But that's what's been squiggling around in our ears. We've been squiggling hard this week. Rob, if you can assist us with a little bit of...
Perfect. I've got a good one. So okay. I feel like I've prefaced a few things before going into the topic so far in the opening this week. I need to preface with thanks for nothing, suckers. We put a poll out there to get an answer on whether The Devil Made Me Do It was good or bad.
Jesus.
And fucking 50-50. Like straight down the middle. We didn't get a definitive winner. So we are, I know I posted in the story. If you missed it, it's very likely. But we're going to do an episode. We're going to bring back Christine to do the episode. But we also want to hear from you, and we want you to hear you on the pod, on that episode as well. So you can hit us up. You know how to on Instagram, on Facebook. You can email us if you want to join us and be on the episode. If you do not want to be on the episode, but you want your voice heard, you can send us a recording. We'll play it. If you don't want to actually be heard, but you want your words to be known, email us what your thoughts and feelings are, and we'll read it on the episode. Because this is going to be the thing. I am the guy that said, fuck the Conjuring universe. All of these movies are stupid. All of them are shit. And then I fell in love with this movie and the Nun movies. So we need more input. So with that being said, bringing up the Conjuring universe, they just announced that the Conjuring Last Rite has just hit its final cut, and it will be rated R.
Ooh.
Yes, the final Conjuring movie will be rated R. That is the good news. The bad news.
Uh-oh.
This movie's probably going to suck. No, it's not the bad news, but the bad news is that they are...
Can't be worse than The Devil Made Me Do It, can it?
I'm going to move forward.
We're going to
go down this rabbit hole. They have decided that they want to pay homage to another movie with this movie, with a specific scene. Lorraine will be getting possessed in the movie, and her possession will be paying homage to The Exorcist.
Huh?
We do not need that. We do not need this big multi-billion-dollar franchise ripping off one of the greatest classic horror films of all time. It angered me. Well, yeah, fuck this movie if that's how far they go with it. But it angered me to no end, where I'm like, you guys have done your due diligence to just kind of stay in your own fucking lane to a point.
It might be worse than The Devil Made Me Do It.
I think it might be.
You can't see the look. He's gonna punch through the fucking screen.
I think it's gonna be along the lines of the first two. That's my thought. Or it'll be as shitty as Annabelle, which was a direct ripoff of fucking Rosemary's Baby, which pissed me the fuck off to no end. They use the same fucking apartment. Oh, God. I fucking hate Annabelle. What a fucking dumbass movie that piece of shit was. Fucking hell.
Hey! No one's going to get that joke.
Nope. They got to wait.
Not yet!
But, yeah. So that is the Creeping It Real. We are getting an R-rated Conjuring movie as the final Conjuring movie. The Conjuring movie, not the final Conjuring universe movie, because I'm sure that they're going to do more. I'm still waiting for this third Nun movie, honestly.
I'm waiting for a Crooked Man spinoff.
Yeah,
not
which
to call back to Hellboy, but like the Crooked Man was one of my favorite parts about too.
Yeah, and here's the downside to that though, is it was just a persona of the one. Yeah, so it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, it'd be cool, arguably. I would be down to see it because, yeah, the Crooked Man was fucking dope.
He was stop motion. He was like fucking a wire puppet and shit. He was creepy, dude. That's part of that movie.
I'd be down for it, but how do you go about that? Do you Annabelle it? Is that what you do?
You could. They've done it before. Fair.
I mean, at that point, though, everything, the Crooked Man itself is sitting in the Warrens' house. So we're getting the last right as the final Conjuring movie. So you can't do it as another Conjuring movie.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, right.
Let's make the Crooked Man ourselves.
Oh my God.
We're not here to talk about the Crooked Man.
No. So, yeah, that is the Creeping It Real. Let us know what your thoughts are. I mean, I feel like everyone has spoken up on the Conjuring universe as a whole since we kind of like dove into that with the last February with Friends, which was fun. We're going to be doing another thing with Friends this year. It'll be me. But, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on with it. I'm waiting for a trailer. Yes, I will be watching the trailer because this is going to be do I waste my money and see it in theater, or do I just wait till it's streaming sort of situation? But I'm down for R-rated. I'm always down for R-rated.
Yeah, we are. And R-rated is not for really, really shit. Unlike this week's movie, Frankenstein's Island. Let's start talking about that fucking piece of flaming hot. Yeah.
All right. So we went back and forth a little bit on how to proceed. I initially remember in season 2, we had said, we will read the synopsis. If it's my movie, I'll read it. If it's your movie, you'll read it. If it's right, then we'll just go with it. If it's way off, then we'll tell you what the synopsis should say. But Jason Michael has made an executive order here, and he really enjoys the way that I go about doing this. So from now on, I will I will be doing the synopses for these, and this one is wild. So
excited to hear this, because after what we just watched,
yeah.
Will it be?
I mean, almost.
It left out the fact that you feel insane after watching it.
Yeah, you hit the midway point in the movie, and my brain was just like, what's happening? Am I currently stroking out? Like, what is going on?
It's right. Bad, because this season is going to be, I don't want to watch this movie. I don't want to finish this movie.
I'm excited.
5 minutes in, I was like, but we have to.
I had a friend back, like, tail end of high school, fresh out of high school. He really was the reason I ended up getting into, like, more deeper into what Trauma had to offer, not so much the surface level shit. But he also got me into, like, this stuff, like the real strange things. So when I saw that this was a Jerry Warren movie, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, you seemed very excited, and I was like, who?
So Jerry Warren has done a plethora of this style of movie, just schlock and sexploitation films.
It seemed to get there real quick.
Yeah, well, and this was tame for what he normally does. So it was just, I don't know. I got excited because he generally, what he does is schlocky as hell, but it's highly entertaining because it's just so over the top. And this one was like 4 scripts that he half wrote and he just jammed together. I mean, more or less, let me jump into the synopsis because that's what it says. When a hot air balloon crashes on a remote island, the crew discovers Dr. Frankenstein's ancestor carrying on the family work along with a race of mutants and a population of Amazons. Now, mutants, maybe. I wouldn't call them mutants. So my synopsis would be
Go on.
Context clues. There's hot air balloons. Then they're on an island. We have no fucking idea what happened until maybe 40 minutes into the movie when we're informed that their hot air balloon crashed. Mm-hmm. But really what this is 4 dudes crash on an island. One gets a sonic ouchie on his wrist. This is the most random thing. So it's an island of Frankenstein monsters that aren't Frankenstein's pieced together monster. They're reanimated humans who have no blood.
They're wearing bell bottoms, turtlenecks, beanies, and sunglasses.
Dude, my note, this was the craziest thing. The first one that ran on and grabbed that lady and took off. Right. I was like, yo, what? But he straight up looked like, oh God, I wrote it in my notes because I was like, I need to remember his name properly so that I can say it and I don't sound like an idiot. Okay. When he ran on screen, he looked like Frank Zito. It's the killer from Maniac, the original Maniac movie. If you look up Maniac and you look up the killer, he's wearing a black turtleneck, the same black hat, sunglasses, the mustache, everything. The best part is one of those freaking undead things has a fake mustache on. It is a fake mustache.
Yes, he does.
For no reason other than the fact that here's a mustache. So the island is overrun with these undead, bloodless creatures, and here's the wild thing. Caucasian Amazonians that are not. So here's the thing.
Also wearing the stereotypical leopard print bikinis.
Yeah. They change up who they are throughout the movie. Like, it's almost like a toddler who makes up the rules to a game and then goes, no, but actually it's this. And you're like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? So they're Amazonians. That's what we are introduced to them as. And then we are told they're aliens. And then we find out that one of them is actually human. Potentially all of them.
That was the stupidest reveal that I understood what they were getting at. And then the delivery of it was just, okay, who cares?
So we have generations later. It's the great granddaughter of Dr. Frankenstein, who we also find out her actual last name is Von Helsing. But she doesn't like to go by that name.
Married name.
Yeah.
God, her delivery is horrendous.
Oh, you have to watch. She's in almost every single one of Jerry's movies. Like, that actress is in pretty much all of them. He reuses a bunch of these same actors. Like, he's the shitty Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith uses all of the same actors in most of his movies. This Jerry does the same thing. And yeah, anywho, so
the way she delivers it is just straight through, like it's a run-on sentence and there wasn't even a pause. She's like sitting there. First off, the cuts in this movie
wild,
abysmal. Like, sound will just cut out and you go, oh, okay, all right, that's great. Or like fight scenes, they didn't have any sort of like punches. You could tell were like 3 feet away.
Yeah, it was clearly done wood claps on set. So like, I mean, the timing on them, you got to credit when credit's due. It sounded like they were doing it live. If they were doing that live, at least they were in sync. But it was the mixing. Most of the fight sequences just shuffle noises of feet.
Yep. And like the fact of, again, the music cuts off, the drums that the Amazons play is not even remotely close to what's actually playing.
Nope.
Dude, like camera angles of just unnecessary shit throughout this entire movie. Like scenes in the laboratory. We're jumping all over the place. Again, This is our new format. Last week, getting back into the swing of things, Outback it wouldn't really have any sustenance if we didn't give you the whole spiel of the movie. Because it would literally just be, hey, they were lost in the woods and one of them died. But this is a jump around the fuck movie.
Yeah. I feel like once I hit a little past the halfway point of Frankenstein's Island, I did realize that it seemed like there were 3 stories happening that they were trying to intertwine that weren't working. It didn't work the way that I think Jerry wanted it to, but I could see what the initial vision was, but it just didn't work like at all. You had to take one element out of it. And I honestly think taking the Amazonian alien humans out of the movie would have made the movie a bit more viewable.
What purpose did they really serve? It's basically our crew starts walking around and there's a dog all of a sudden.
Yeah, that dog is awesome, by the way.
Melvin is great, but Melvin just shows up after they just crash landed in a hot air balloon. You had a dog up with you up in the hot air balloons?
I don't think the dog was theirs, though, because
why
the
were
end
they
of the
calling it Melvin.
Oh, fair point. Yeah. Well, the best, I actually put a note. The look on the dog's face is, I'm not getting paid enough for this. With the opening of the movie, because the dog's like looking at the shitty acting and then just fucks off and pees on
oh my God,
on seaweed.
We
got 2 episodes in a row with pee in it.
There's the blue shirt guy that's balding is like preaching some nonsense, and then he just gets tabletopped, and then the guy who tabled him is just like, ow, my hand, ow. It's like, who's what? And yeah, so the dog takes off through a cave. It is the funniest blink and you'll miss it moment. It says, first off, I didn't know this, Dr. Frankenstein is played by John Carradine, which, if you did not know, not only the father of David Carradine, also played Dracula in the House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula.
Yeah.
So we have Universal royalty in this shit fiesta, if you will.
It's the multi-universal monster.
Yep. And
universe.
They're walking through the cave that the dog, somehow led them to, which it goes from happy beach music to suspense to stop to angry. But they go into the cave and all of a sudden you're just watching them walk through, and then for the splittest of seconds, John Carradine's face pops up behind them and I go, did they splice something wrong? What, like...
No, because one of the actors looks at it and then looks at everyone else.
And he doesn't say a fucking thing.
No.
This is after we see the box, like the random box, which I'm gonna guess is maybe like a projector of sorts, but you can't make sense of this fucking movie.
No.
They crawl out of the cave and they see like I thought it was a hammock at first. I thought it was somebody chilling in a hammock.
I did too.
It's a woman, one of the Amazonians, like tied hands and feet to two different trees.
Like a hammock.
Stomach to the ground. And they're just casually walking up going, oh, that looks weird.
Yeah.
But there's also a bunch of skulls that literally look like latex skull masks that are just propped in random places.
Throughout the whole movie.
And then the rest of the Amazons come out perfectly fine. Nobody's going to question it. And then, the weird static arm frequency thing.
Yeah.
Where you're just, what the fuck was that? Why?
He's got masturbatory problems. He's
Seriously.
like, I must fap immediately.
Women in leopard skin bikinis, I'm in. Dude, it's the most stereotypical thing, too, where it's like, I've seen that type of bikini in several schlocky interpretations of a Halloween costume of a caveman. But at the same point, it's like, why? And then they cut to night. They're with the Amazons and they're just eating food. Yeah,
Sorry.
They're watching them as the shitty drumming syncs or is like synced up, but like also at the same point they're just watching them trip. Like it's some weird flaily dance.
Yeah.
And then they're watching a snake woman, which they linger on that shot for way too long.
He's like, come look at this. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And she's just looking in a mirror, which comes up randomly later. The guy's like, well, I got you those mirrors.
Cool.
That do what? For what purpose?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think of now in retrospect that you brought up a projector. If those mirrors are all around the island, then they could reflect. They could realistically just reflect that projection anywhere, which we do end up seeing him everywhere.
Yeah.
Because
it's so
the power
happens too.
The power. The power.
There's a scene, I think it's like when they're all trying to get up to the mansion and he pops up and starts talking to them and then it just sits on him and John's like staring around and then just looks off in the distance. And then he fades away very slowly. It's like, why did we need to linger on that for so long?
Runtime. There were so many moments where I was just like, they're just going for runtime at this point.
I was shocked that this was a 90-minute movie. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Astonishing. But all of a sudden they wake up and it's the next day, day two. And the Amazons are just ripping bong hits out of skulls. But it's just like, what the fuck? Skeleton head. And, dude, they start walking through the woods.
Yeah.
And out from behind the tree they just all walked past is this weird... Oh, no, that's later. Hang on. And then just one of the women that gets, kind of trails behind, gets picked up by the fucking, turtleneck guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what am I watching? What the hell's happening now?
I love the fact that he just casually very gently places her down and then pretends to fall and then gets up and runs away. He's just like, all right, I'm going to put you down gently. Now I have to pretend to fall. Now I'm going to get back up.
Uh-huh.
And they explain it too, which is not an explanation, but it is. Nope. But it's just like, they're not wired right. You're like, huh?
Dude.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell because some of them, when they're looking around, are just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Fucking looking like Curly Joe. I just can't. Later when there's just a random cutscene in the laboratory to here's a nice wide shot, and then here's one of the guys just wiping down a box, and it keeps cutting back to him.
Yeah.
Looking shocked. It's like, why? And there's a fucking spinning brick or ammo box.
It looks like it looks like a lunchbox.
It's pink.
It's a breakdancing lunchbox.
And it starts spinning faster. I was like, ooh, it's speeding up. Ooh.
I think that I don't know. They do keep cutting back to it, but I feel like that holds some form of power for God knows what.
Power.
Yeah, maybe that is the power. It's not.
Except for we'll never fucking know.
It's not the piece of Dr. Frankenstein's brain. Oh my God.
Put it in a fucking blender. Yeah, it's this movie is all sorts of confusing, especially after she gets like, slowly dropped to the ground. All of a sudden we just hear a laugh.
Dude, this guy.
It's just two guys just chilling off to the side like, hey, what's up? We've been watching this whole time. And he walks up at his name's like fucking Jocko or something, and he's supposed to be Australian, I think.
Yeah, his accent is all over the place.
Dude, and it's when he's like, "Oh, thanks for that, neighbor. Out of my way, mate." And it's like, who? Listen, I just watched a movie on Australia. You are not Australian, sir.
Yeah.
I am a local resident.
There's only one moment, too, where they're on the beach and
oh my God.
They've got some random embalming body that's half alive or something like that. And then
the fucking dude in a bathtub? Yeah.
And then he busts into a British accent for like a line and then just goes back to talking in normal like American accent. Like,
dude, I
wonder if he was actually drunk the whole time.
He might have been.
Dude, he would not stop laughing.
And that laugh was something horrendous too. he would be sitting there, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, just it's like,
it's so good.
Why?
I don't know. I love every moment of it, though. He was the best moment. He was the best character in the entire movie. Anytime we get like 3 shots of him just drinking solo at a table,
yep, dude,
singing random songs to himself.
Right before that, when he came out with the laugh and the other bearded guy's just aggressively stroking a goat, and he just comes out, and you're right, he must have been drunk because I didn't understand the line he said when he came out.
Yeah,
there was no proper like English language that came out of his face. But I don't even know about this fucking movie, dude. They're like, all right, come with us, we can get you access to the lab. And they stay with them.
Yeah, they go. They follow the guy who's evil cackling.
Yeah.
And he keeps laughing the whole time. I would have been like, maybe not follow this dude.
And they're just like, this food looks gross. Are you going to eat this? No. All right, let's go sneak in. It's okay. So they sneak in and find a cage with, God damn it, why do you have to be named Jason? On the bright side, was spelled incorrectly. So
well, also, you're skipping over the most important thing. Jason is in there. But we meet somebody way more important first. We meet the skeleton of Beetlejuice. Straight up, there is a skull on the ground with the Beetlejuice, like, full suit.
With the suit and the knife in the eye.
Dude,
I was like,
Beetlejuice?
What are you talking about? But now I get it. Oh my God. Yeah, just
so good.
Skull with a knife in its eye.
Oh my God. It was the best moment.
We learned absolutely nothing about like Jason and what he did in this scene. And we also did find out just a few moments ago that if you talk about where you're from, that's when your arm will go into shock or some shit. I thought it was like being braggadocious because he's like, oh man, I remember my initiation back in B. And then Dino with his fucking Fred Jones ascot the whole time, just talking about, oh yeah, I used to play football back, and then he had the arm thing. I was like, what? So yeah, apparently if you brag about where you're from, folks, your arm will go into electroshock and there will be a high-pitched noise. So best of luck, don't do that. I love the fact of they're so concerned about Jason too. And then you can tell it's just a wall. Like that is one side of a cage because they didn't have the budget for the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 guys just walk in and stab him in the fucking head with a needle. And it's just like, oh, he needs to be sedated from time to time. It's like, you just killed this man.
He doesn't even react. That's the even better part. He just needs to be sedated from time to time.
You can see it because his hand was on his hair and he stuck the needle behind the head. Yeah. But at the same point, it's like, I know you need to get through the skull, but like, why the skull? Why do you need to plunge a needle through a man's skull in order to sedate him? His neck is right there and it's probably easier to go through.
Yeah.
But also, that needle's fucking strong.
So I had a thought towards the end of the movie.
I should turn it off?
I wish. So there's that piece of Dr. Frankenstein's brain. That's how he's being projected, and he's still alive, and he's still doing experiments because his brain is being kept alive.
It looked like you took a mold of a brain, poured beans into it, stuck it in the freezer, and then let it sit there. Because when it starts melting at the end, that's exactly what it fucking looks like. Probably
what they did do, to be completely honest.
Surprised.
But they with the what is her name? The great granddaughter.
Oh, something Frankenstein, Van Helsing, that bitch.
I wrote it
Sheila?
down.
Vivian? Brandy?
Yeah. Sheila Frankenstein says that she's worried that the brain is going to get destroyed and that everything's going to go south because of it. And then homeboy in the bed, who's been alive for 300 years, says, don't worry, there's another piece of the brain. I think it's in Jason. I think that's the sedation, is they need to sedate the Frankenstein part of the brain so that it doesn't take over, so that it's a safe haven. But that was the only thing I could think of.
I thought it was because he was the same blood type.
I think he's the same blood type, and that would be the perfect host for the other half of Dr. Frankenstein's brain.
What a fucking Jesus Christ.
But none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. It's all wild.
None of it fucking matters because it all disappears at the end. I can't, dude. I'm honestly this entire time watching the scenes of John Carradine, because honestly, until we saw the actual projection and not that little one, I thought it was just him getting credit because he was in the picture. I thought that was going to be the entire thing. I was like, oh, and John Carradine is, he's a picture. Got it. Because they really go, this is Dr. Frankenstein.
Right.
Great. Oh, cool. I did like the fact that they were kind of being like, yeah, that old legend of Frankenstein and bringing body back to life. Yeah, that was real. He's my father. And we continuing shit here. And I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If this movie wasn't so fucking shit.
And then they reveal that the monster is still alive.
Just, casually just drop that in. It's like, yeah, he's, we couldn't destroy the brain. So he's, bound up in the grotto below and under the water. Cut to a scene of fucking Baldy McBlueshirt hanging with an Amazon, and they're sitting by the water's edge, and he goes, oh wow, it looks like there's a person under there. Oh, must be my imagination getting to me. Bro, you just went into a fucking weird mutant fight club, got your ass kicked by mutant Bruce Lee, and then you watch the fucking maniacal laughing drunk pick up a scoop of fucking blue pre-workout and slowly drop it into a tub that has a man in there. What do you mean, buddy? What do you fucking mean?
Oh man.
It's all sorts of, what am I watching in this movie? I didn't know there were 4 scripts put together, because now it all fucking makes sense.
Well, I don't know if that is, I mean, it just seems like it. There's no other explanation. And that's why the synopsis even seems like that's what it was. They were like, I have no idea. Like, this is Amazonian alien human hybrids with zombies, basically.
Dude, in their fucking fight circle, it's just like, oh yes, we have sports over here. And Dino goes, sports? All right. And he goes over and you just hear them go, "Rrr, rrr, rrr, rrr." And it's like, that's all they can do.
Do you like sports? Sports?
Oh, join our fight club.
And then he puts cocaine in the embalming fluid, or whatever the fuck that was.
Was there something I missed, or did they actually have a plan here? Because it seemed like Dino and Blue Shirt, and then Doc and the fucking other guy, like, they went and distracted the whole fight crew as they snuck back to go, like, see Jason.
I have no idea. I didn't catch any of it. It just, do you like sports? He basically was like, boy, howdy do I. And then they went and fought.
The way they fucking stand is incredible. There's the scene where they walk past a tree, and, they totally would have seen the guy standing back there, but he just walks out from behind the tree, just like, just arms up, just hunched over, squatting, like,
like a caveman robot.
I can't fucking take these things seriously. It's insane. But I'm so happy that I could laugh at this movie. We were texting each other during it, and, like, I didn't laugh at Outback. Like, I mean, again, real story, blah, blah, blah. The movie itself, they tried some stuff, didn't land.
Right.
But this movie, I'm watching a fucking guy in a turtleneck, beanie, and glasses wave a plastic devil's pitchfork from fucking CVS, like
so
last
good.
minute Halloween costume, and it puts people in a trance.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
guess.
like, we're watching this. Electric sounds, cut to 3 of them, and one's waving a thing on his face, and then he fucking gets plastic vampire teeth. Just
They do a close up too. Like, yeah,
we didn't need the close up, man.
No,
you could see practically "Made in China" engraved on the goddamn thing.
God. So good. They went and just bought Halloween store supplies and utilized them. It's so good. It's so bad it's good.
While all of this is happening, Doc is now, I guess, under a trance of his own because of the tea or some shit.
Yeah.
Cool, because suddenly he's wanting to help find the key to everlasting life. Because Van Helsing's like, "Oh, she didn't tell you? Yeah, I'm like 200-something years old."
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we could have gathered that, because when you sit up and go, "Golden thread!"
Yeah, what the fuck is the golden thread the whole time?
I don't know, but John Carradine keeps telling us about that fucking golden thread. And
the power.
And the strength. Oh my God.
None of it made sense. It's all just... It's whose line is it anyway? The rules are made up and the plot doesn't matter or exist.
What plot? Yeah, exactly. God damn.
Oh, man.
You were going to say something before I went in on Carradine for a second.
No, I have no idea. It's just wild. Just everything about the movie was so disjointed. Like I was making bullet point notes, not even about like plot, but just none of it was. Yeah.
This is such a great start to season 3. Like,
it's great.
Strong episode 2, baby.
It's I can't remember what the term is for this type of movie, and it's going to drive me crazy. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But there was like there's so many of these, and Jerry Warren is known for this. Like, this is what he does. He takes simple ideas and makes simple, sometimes not even that great, like this one, movies, and just runs with it. But he's made so goddamn many movies. It's ridiculous. So he's made, let's just go through this real quick. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to give you some of the names. The Wild World of Batwoman, not related to Batman. Just
okay. You had me.
Yep. The woman that plays Frankenstein / Helsing in this one is Batwoman. The Incredible Petrified World, Teenage Zombies, which I'm going to be honest, if you haven't seen it, you must. It is a trip.
I don't even know if I want to after this. That's a gorilla. That's not a zombie. That's a fucking gorilla.
Welcome to the world.
I'm keeping that whole section in right there. That
it's so good.
And everything. Holy shit.
Yep. The Creeping Terror, which good.
Sounds kind of cool.
Creature of the Walking Dead. Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Wait, is Frankenstein versus the Mummy also him? Because looking it up on Tubi. Oh, damn. That
I don't believe so.
I was suddenly like, I kind of want to watch this instead.
Well, you should watch The Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, because he did that one. He also did Voodoo Woman, The Killer Shrew.
Fuck off, really?
Yep. He likes these words. The Incredibly Strange Creatures. Yes, with an S. Teenagers from Outer Space. Yeah.
It's
no.
So vague.
No, we will not be doing more of his movies because that's enough. But well, maybe we will.
Holy shit, dude! I before we continue, again, I'm so thankful for the people that are watching these movies with us because it's going to make so much sense. Like, fucking Selena is going. She commented, on our post about Outback. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to suffer along with you this season. I hope you enjoyed this fucking movie."
I want to know. I want to know which suckers tapped out and when.
Yeah, dude. I the moment I saw the hot air balloons and then couldn't read the text that was on the screen for 2 seconds and like 5 lines long, it was like, "Oh, cool. Should I stop it now or
no?" It popped up and it was on screen so fast. I was like, I don't care. The movie had just started and I was like, couldn't care less. I'm sure that would have explained that the hot air balloon was crashing, but
yeah. And like Sheila Frankenstein was so like casually explaining, "Oh yeah, we pulled your balloons here." Because, Frankenstein, even though he's dead, he still has control over the island. And, he had the power to pull your balloons down to the water. And it's like, huh?
And he's like, "Oh, you remember when our balloons were spinning?"
No.
Like trying to explain it away. Like, no, you remember? Remember when that happened? Like, we sure don't.
Do you remember? No, I don't. It never happened. Leave me alone. Dude, I'm watching some of the shit in this fucking movie. Eventually, the 3 others, that's not Doc because he's in some trance trying to keep Van Helsing alive, turning knobs, colorful sounds, and whatever. And the other 3 are just trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
They're building a raft with the Amazons, and Dino's falling in love with one of them. And I love also the fact of the blue shirt guy at the very end just kisses one of the Amazons, and it's like, dude, I don't think you had any connection like Dino did. You just plant one on an alien like woman thing. I don't know what they are.
I mean, she leaned in, so I guess there was something there.
I will say the kiss with Dino was quite awkward. Both of them were like, do we have to? Do we have to do it? Yeah. It was weird. But we find out because at first the only mutant we saw at the point way earlier in the movie. Again, we're jumping around. I don't even remember half the shit I watched in this fucking film.
It's wild.
But it's bad. Yeah. When they're about to leave after just meeting Sheila and go see the laboratory, that's when we find out about the mutants. They don't have blood, and like, why are they wearing this stupid fucking outfit, first off? But more specifically, the sunglasses, the big Karen square leopard print frames.
Oh, they're so good.
She's just like, their eyes, they can't handle the light. You lift them up and it's just contacts. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, cool.
I also love the fact that when the electricity goes haywire, she ends up having the same eyes, which then leads us to...
Goes away?
Yeah. It leads us to...
never comes back.
But that's the thing is, how long has Sheila been alive?
Good point. Because
that is what... I feel like that's what they're alluding to with that, is the fact that she's also not alive. And somehow when they did what they did to her, it worked. But when they're doing it to the other sad souls, it's not working. And so they're just mindless zombies. But Sheila Frankenstein is fine for some reason.
Could be. Huh. Dude, later in the movie when they're like, all right, we have to escape, but we have to get people out of here. When we learned more about the mutants, they were telling them that, oh yeah, the only way you can cut them in half is with a machine gun. It's like, okay. And then we find a machine gun, which is a big fucking gun.
Yeah.
And the blue shirt guy comes in with it on a tripod and like 3 Amazons holding the belt. We heard the sound of the gun right before they came in through the door. And then they just set it up, waiting for the rest of them to bust open the door while they're having the conversation. It's like, don't do this. It'll ruin the whole experiment, blah, blah, blah. Finally, when the door comes down, the gun doesn't fucking work.
Nope.
He says it's jammed. So first off, you didn't have the budget for a functioning machine gun. Second, It's also might be because the Amazon is holding her hand behind a bullet about to go into the chamber. She's holding the belt and stopping it from feeding in.
Could
Which
be.
honestly, it probably would have ripped her finger off and wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't give a shit.
Right.
But it's like, it's jammed. Oh, your hand's in the way. Cool, we're done.
Nope,
Dude.
we don't get that. I think it was again, this is like 4 scripts jammed into one movie. I think that they just they got like access to a giant turret gun, and they were like, "Oh, we can utilize this. How do we put this in the movie?" Yeah. Well, we don't have the budget for fake smoke or anything like that, so just make it not work. But it'd be really cool to have it in the movie. Also, makes no logical sense. Like,
Yep.
the only way to kill them is a machine gun. Like, you mean you can't cut their head off? I'm pretty sure that would work too. What are you?
Dude, nobody knows what's fucking happening in this movie.
No.
As the Amazons are like following them around the outside of the lab too, like they get stopped by Carradine. He does the whole power golden thread. They walk past the fight zone from earlier, which also turns out they need specific types of blood to do transfusions to make him last long. What were they doing? Were they trying to keep him alive longer or fix him, make him better at his 200 plus years?
No clue, because he literally says he doesn't want to be alive anymore.
The whole fucking point of keeping him there is useless.
Yeah.
And like, so they steal a goat, and the drunk guy is laughing again. Who's to guess? And the other bearded guy is just aggressively stroking a goat and brings it to try and do blood transfusions.
Yeah.
But as Doc's friends come up and they're like, all right, we got the raft, we can go. And he's like, no, the work's too much. So you can tell he's brainwashed. He smells the tea. And then as they leave, actually, fuck that. Right before that, Sheila is walking with a beaker that's like got a little bit of green liquid in it. And Dino's not moving. And she walks straight into him. And it's like, if this fell, it would be so much worse than you could ever imagine. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, fuck that. She walked into you, bro.
Yeah.
That's her fault. And she starts whinging. And it's like, oh, why do your friends have to be here? So they leave, and then they bring out another Amazon chick to try and do more blood transfusions, which ultimately kills her. And they just wheel her out. And while the Amazons are coming up to the lab, they walk past the tub for the embalming fluid, and the drunk laughing guy is passed out on the table.
Yeah.
And she lifts it up, and he shoots up out of the water and then just sits there. She screams and then is taken away. But what the fuck was the point of him?
No idea.
Was the embalming process done?
I don't know.
I don't know. He just sat up and it's like, hello. And why?
That part made me laugh and like throw my hands up in the air, because I was like, who are you? Like, what is what? Wait a second. Who are you?
Dude, the part that made me uncontrollably fucking laugh was shortly after this, where they go inside and Dino's like, all right, go ahead, check that door. The Amazon walks in. She sees her dead Amazon friend, comes out screaming, runs into the bearded guy. She looks up and screams, and he just wide-eye expression looks and smiles at the camera like, ah! He didn't make any noise. It's just silently him spiking the lens.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, my favorite part is once everything starts to go haywire, the monster...
Dude, I was honestly pleased with the monster that showed up at first.
But the way he arises from the water, and then his arms are just out like T-posing, and he's just spinning side to side the whole time. Yeah. There's no noise. I'm just like, it's water noise.
Yeah, there's no noise. Like, there's not even a row. There's no chainsaw revs. But at the same point, all of a sudden, music cuts when they just cut to the next scene. And it's like, oh.
Yep.
Oh,
and then it's shuffle,
like,
shuffle.
We watch him fucking walk forever. I will say, he's got a pretty good Frankenstein walk. The hands were kind of angled, kind of cool, but it's like... And then
fingers
like,
wide, too.
Dude! Listen, Melvin was the best part of this fucking movie, but what was the point of Melvin in some of these scenes?
Dude, I don't know.
Sitting in the cornfield, and he's just walking up and walks away. I was like, Melvin, are you going to do something? Then when he got up and followed, I was like, okay, cool, thank you. There's actually a reason for Melvin to be here.
Yeah, I did.
Unlike the goddamn mutant wiping a box while science experiments are going on.
I feel like Melvin was somebody's dog, and they were like, put him in the movie. Why not? He's here. we might as fucking well.
John Carradine on set. Well, chances are he probably wasn't even on set, but just like, Lon Chaney Jr. did this with the Wolfman with his dog. We could do it the same. Bring in another pet dog.
I want to see. I'm curious now. I got it. Melvin the dog as self. Melvin the dog. One and only movie is this movie. This killed this dog's career.
I was going to say after this, Melvin did not want to act again. He became an alcoholic, man. It was nasty. I'm sorry.
I mean, he was the saving grace of the fucking movie, though. He was hilarious.
Fucking God.
And there's no info. None.
Poor Melvin. You deserve to be remembered better than this.
Oh, my God.
Dude, like, when they finally decide, all right, we're going to go, to the lab and break out of here tonight, and Dino just takes the woman's necklace and puts it on the dog. It's like, all right, he's officially a part of the tribe. And that's it. It's like, cool. The dog has a necklace now, but the dog follows Frankenstein up to the lab, and nothing could prepare me for the fact of all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just a casual conversation, door gets pushed open, and it's Frankenstein and like some gremlins just fucking with turtlenecks and beanies sneaking slowly in.
Dude, the monster during that entire fight sequence doesn't do shit.
He's spinning around in the middle like, guys, no, stop, we can be friends.
He's just flipping tables, and he throws a beaker at the wall. The best part is the way he picks that beaker up. I don't know if you noticed how he was holding it, but I was like, what are you doing? He threw it at the wall with such force. I was like, good Lord. But then he just flips a table with a bunch of empty plastic bottles on it. Like, everything. That whole scene. Did you catch the moment where the Amazon woman was kicking the dude in the back, but she was like...
She was learning.
She was like so lazy about it, and she straight up like looks off camera for a minute and then like looks over to somebody else and like runs across and just flying bicycle kicks somebody basically. I was just like, why weren't you doing that the whole time?
This whole fucking fight scene is just ridiculous because, again, the monster's in the middle swinging around like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, again, there's no hit sounds for the most part. There's no grunts. There's no nothing. But when the monster actually grunts, it's like, oh, okay, he's got sound. And he's silent again. Sick. Yep. Okay, great. Yeah. But the fucking happy-faced beard guy, he was like strapped to the table for a second to like, or no, he was standing next to the table and they're like, all right, you stay right there when they came in with the gun. Mm-hmm. And then he looks up at the monster, runs towards the monster, and the monster turns around and he looks at him and just strangles him.
Yeah, with one hand.
And he doesn't do anything. Yeah. And he just drops to the ground and he's dead. Oh, also because Drunky McGee woke up earlier and walked out straight into Frankenstein's hands.
Who?
The monster. Shut up. Fuck off.
Oh.
Frankenstein's monster, you picky bitch. And he dies just like that. He was going to go put more chlorine into the fucking embalming pool, even though he could have just looked out the door and gone, why are you sitting up? And not died.
Frankenstein's monster, like, Vulcan nerve pinched him to death. Yeah. That was the best part. I was just like, did he just Vulcan nerve pinch this dude? Like, what the fuck?
Hell yeah.
It was one hand, just a quick squeeze, and then he dropped to the ground. I'm like, oh, we got a crossover.
Yep.
Someone's getting sued.
Oh my God. Dude, everyone should get sued after this fucking movie. Like, while all of this is happening and there's a fight and shit being flipped, there's a moment where it's just John Carradine and he just laughs. And it just... and then it cuts in the middle of his laugh and just a silence. It's like, why? But the fucking Van Helsing sitting on the table, like when you see the expression on the beard guy and then the monster, and then it cuts to the guy or Van Helsing, he's just like, the expressions are the stupidest fucking thing.
They sure are.
All right, look surprised. That's good enough. Like, why?
I feel like that was the whole shooting for the movie was, that's good enough. On to the next thing.
We only have one reel of feel. Jesus. One reel. No, I did it again. Holy fucking Christ. One reel of film. This movie is breaking my brain. They only had one reel of film, and we could afford no mistakes. So we're filming through it. Whatever we get is the take we get.
Yep.
Give me a good laugh. I said a good laugh, but damn it, we'll try again. We'll just make your character laugh the entire fucking movie so you can try and get it right.
Do it till you get it right. There. You just keep doing the same fucking laugh.
Turns out he never got it right, so they decided to kill him. He was actually going to make it off the island. He was supposed to be a good guy.
He was going to be the final dude, just drunk on the raft. That's how the movie ends. God. No, the ending of the movie's so stupid, though. So dumb.
Honestly, there was a moment, like at the beginning of the fight scene in the lab, where I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, this is good. This is actually a good movie." And then it very quickly stopped because all of a sudden they just start launching a T-shirt cannon at the Amazons, and then they have the vampire teeth, and then they disintegrate. And then one of them goes in to try and fight shirtless Bruce Lee, and he's got a needle. And then fucking Snake Lady comes back in with a tarantula and a snake, and he's just like,
he just crumples onto the floor, and she puts a tarantula on him so gingerly, and then just slowly descends the snake towards him, and then it cuts. Just all right, back to the fight. Like,
and
what?
And you know what the best part about the fight was? Melvin walked in the door, went up to the feet of the monster, started barking, and he just like goes, "Arr, arr," and Melvin walks away.
Yep.
No haste. He walks in, says, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Okay, bye." And then just strolls back through the door. It's like, what? Why are you here?
He must have just wandered on to the set because he barks at a few different people, and then
film the dog.
Yeah, literally, because it's quick. It's so random.
It is, and it's the pitchfork makes a return to try and like hypnotize another Amazon, and eventually the doc is like when Sheila did the whole electric thing that turned her weird. It was to also break his spell that he was on, and then eventually they're able to leave because. Again, the expressions in this fucking movie. Van Helsing and Sheila are like, well, we got to be careful with the brain. They're going to destroy it. And he goes, no, don't worry. There's a second brain. And it slowly pans over, and there's just an Amazon standing there like, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Nothing.
She runs off. Yeah, she runs off to tell, and you see the brain melt. And you see Sheila, basically, the actress, throws up her hands and is like, well, what the fuck? She did not care. It was just, oh no. Okay. All right. Am I done with this fucking movie yet, Jeff? Yeah. God damn.
Contract's finally fucking over.
What's his name?
Jerry.
Jeff? Jerry Jeff?
Jerry Warren.
Thank you. Jerry.
Yeah, but the brain melting puts all of the zombies and the monster into like a trance. Because that's the control, is Dr. Frankenstein's brain projection with the power and golden thread is connected to all of these things and keeping them alive, apparently.
While it melted, though, like, the regular mutants are, like, slowly slumping down. The monster is like, I'm choking.
Yeah, like, I thought that was really weird.
How is this supposed to affect anyone here? But eventually the whole cast and crew, the four main guys, they're like, all right, we got to go, and we're taking you with us. And at this moment, Jason is with the Amazon that Dino was with, because Jason was about to have his blood transfused, and so was she. And then Dino's like, we got to go. And she goes, no, he's my father. And it's like, okay, there it is. Yeah. Because as she was put on the table next to him, he was looking at her like, you look strangely like my wife, who died 17 years ago. You were 3 at the time. Huh. Don't you remember?
I do. Yeah.
He's my father. Dude.
That's so dumb.
So the guys leave and mysteriously are at an army base. Like, that. Passage of time means fucking nothing.
Yeah. Well, at this point, there was 5 minutes left in the movie. I was like, how the fuck are they closing this out in 5 minutes?
Very fair. And they came back to the island, which, again, passage of time means fuck all. Because there's no way they got there in an unpowered raft, which the colonel was very interested in how the raft worked. He's like, when I saw you guys on that raft, it was astonishing. It's like, it was trees, homeboy.
Yeah.
It was just trees. Like, what was so... Fuck you. They get up onto the island, and then we hear Dino go, Melvin? And I shouted, you left the fucking dog?
Yeah, I did too.
I was livid. So fucking pissed off. And
ridiculous.
They go up, Amazon huts. Poof. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
They keep going. Which, for some reason, they did this twice in the movie. They did it when they went up to the lab in the first part, but they
thought it was strange.
The fucking tree. Walk around it.
Yeah.
Don't literally intertwine your way through a fucking tree.
It's a big old.
Literally climb through it in the most convoluted way.
It's a giant open fucking field with one tree in the middle. It's not even a tree. It's just a giant branch that's in the shape of a triangle, and they fucking walked through it. It's, again, you look at movies before this era, and you always are like, why is everyone so uncomfortably close to each other? It's because the boom mic only picked up a certain radius, so they had to stand close. And yes, this is 19
say anything.
Right, and this is 1981, and this was clearly the budget. They had an OG fucking boom mic, because even conversations, there were 5 people in one scene, and they were just nuts to butts in that scene to just get every piece of verbal audio picked up.
At the very end, they are definitely nut to butt.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, the colonel's like, cool, so you made everything up. You came out here for nothing.
Yep.
You're all crazy. And the house is gone, the lab is gone, the huts are gone, everything's gone. And then the colonel walks off. He's like, all right, come on, army people, we're going home. And the group is like, how did 4 guys have the same hallucination? 4 very different brains. Melvin comes up with the fucking medallion that he got thrown on him. And then they start laughing and smiling like everything is better now. Basically going, oh, we're not crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, but where did every fucking thing go?
Well, so they had mentioned, when they brought up the fact that their balloon crashed, that they were trying to break a world record or some shit. So who knows how far they made it in the balloons. So that would probably be why the colonel was so impressed by the raft and how far they made it on a tree raft.
Bring logic to this shit, right?
I can't help it. But the thing that gets me is the fact that all of this shit's gone and those dudes are back on the island, and their transportation there is gone. As far as I'm concerned, they just they were like, fuck these guys, leave them here. And they just chilled out and then cut the credits with.
And that is 1981's Frankenstein's Island. What the actual shitfest fuck was.
You only have yourself to be mad at on this one. This was your pick.
Dude, I know this is literally the whole fucking point of the season.
Yep.
God damn it. Just god damn it. All right. Before we finish up this wonderful chat of this fucking episode, we have to crown a bloody legend. Part of me was, honestly, for most of the movie, I was like, John Carradine.
Yeah. John
Carradine, just because he's there. And then Melvin.
Thank you. Yes. I had the same thought while I was watching. I was like, ooh, Carradine would be great because at least we have like a big household name. That would be dope.
Fucking windy.
Awesome. But Melvin just kicks ass. Melvin made the opening of the movie 10 times better. I could not stop laughing. I was like, this acting is so shit. And they just cut the dog. And he's just like,
and there's a dog.
Melvin's doing that dog eyebrow thing when they look super confused. Like, the fuck are you doing right now the whole time? And I was like, this dog rocks. I hope it's in the whole movie. So yeah, it's gotta be
legend of the week is Melvin.
All right. So God. On a scale of 1 to 10 golden threads of power, what would you give Frankenstein's Island?
Honestly, I wanted to turn this movie off so many times. I wanted to hit power and just be like, sorry, Rob, I'm not doing it. But I know I had to. And I know that's going to be the theme of this fucking season. And oh my God, I'm terrified. I would probably say it is definitely I will definitely say it's better than Outback. And that's saying something.
Yeah.
I will give this movie a 3.
Whoa.
3 golden threads of power.
All right.
It's not that much better. But like if there was at least one concrete through line. Right. It was like every character was basically giving off they are, primary characters. They're not secondary characters. They're not tertiary. They're all going for primary character position. And 14 different stories are all happening. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. But it provided good chuckles. It had John Carradine. And the monster didn't look bad when it first showed up.
True.
In light, ew.
Yeah, it was like he was wearing a helmet with paper mache on it. That's why he couldn't. That's why he couldn't fight. That's why he only had to move around stiffly, because if he moved any more than that, it would have slipped forward or fallen off.
He had fucking Batman neck going on. But yeah, all 3 of my points are going to John Carradine, Melvin, and the look of the monster in the cave. I was pleasantly surprised that there was actually a monster too, because I thought they were just going to play off the fucking the turtleneck like beanie crew.
Yeah,
they're like Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, well, there is a lineage of the Frankensteins in this, so that would make sense with the name. So I was like, all right, cool. But no, it was interesting to see the monster. Still doesn't make any sense because we know for a fact that Frankenstein's monster died in Bride.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's chained under the water in the grotto, so Jesus Christ. But Rob, with all that being said, how many golden threads of power would you give this movie?
It's also 3, but my I have the same 2. Carradine, Melvin, and the laugh. That drunk dude's laugh, fucking the best shit ever. It made the movie. Between that and Melvin, this movie was fucking fantastic. Just because the laugh was, oh my God, non-stop. Why?
He showed up in random parts, and you knew he was there. Like, you could be and you'd be like, oh fuck, this guy again. Or it would cut to him, and he's standing like, like, stop it right now, sir.
This is what they took of my eye. What happened to your eye? Just randomly asking again.
Yeah,
I feel like
left of it.
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like a toddler wrote portions of this script too, because it's just like oh man. So as we did last week, we are going to now, after our rating, we are going to decide whether Frankenstein's Island remains in the dungeon to continue to suffer, or if we release it from its suffering. And it has to be unanimous. If neither of us agree, we will put a poll on Instagram, and we will leave it up to the suckers to choose whether it remains in the dungeon or if it gets released. So I feel like we're kind of going to be unanimous like we were last week. This remains to suffer.
Yeah, it's still in the dungeon. This thing's not getting. It's deep in the island dungeon. That, God damn it! Like there will be a moment where I will go, you know what? That was kind of funny at that point. But honestly, as soon as I hit power on my TV after this fucking movie, I was like, thank God I never fucking have to watch this shit again.
I had the same feeling. I was just like, I took a deep breath. Dude. I was like, I need a palate cleanser.
Drink some piss.
Seriously. No, I made a salad and watched Frasier because that's what you do.
That's incredible.
All right. Dude. Well, there it is. 1981's Frankenstein's Island remains in the dungeon to suffer. Well,
now I'm scared. You know why?
Why?
Well, I think you were about to say it's because now we have to choose the next movie.
Yeah, that's mine.
And this, what fucking stinker are we going to get this time?
All right, well, let's see. Let's roll and find out. I feel bad for you So on my list, I had added just a couple of movies. I think exactly 2.
Oh no.
Yes, I am double checking my list. I have added only 2 movies that I have already seen that I think Jason Michael's going to hate. Now, okay. I just rolled number 1, which is 2016's Bad Ben. Arguably, the first 2 Bad Ben movies are actually pretty decent. I enjoyed my watch of them. Now I'm going to make it worse. There are, if I remember correctly, I think there's 16 or 17 of the Bad Ben movies.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So the quick backstory, and we'll leave it for the episode, is all of these movies were shot and acted by one guy on home surveillance cameras. And it's about a haunting in his house. So it's found footage, but it is not done well. Let's just put it that way. But
I was going to say, you kind of have me here.
So this first one I like because, without giving anything away, it follows in the suit of what scares the shit out of me in the Blair Witch Project. That's why I like the first movie so much. But there are aspects about this movie that I think you're going to be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, so it's on Prime. As far as I know, that's the only place to find him because he's released every single one of these movies there.
It does say free to watch on the Roku channel.
Ooh, there you go. So for those of you like us who have Roku, everything, Roku TV, Roku sticks, I've got it all. You can watch Bad Ben.
Watch
2006. 2016. Make sure you're watching the first one because there are multiple. Do not fall into the trap of the wrong one. Actually, hold on. 2016. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 2016. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I feel like I watched that way more than freaking 9 years ago. But
14 other ones.
There you go, 14.
Dude, I'm looking at the like trailer picture, and it looks like somebody just scribbled in chalk "Bad Ben" over a picture of a house with a guy standing with a sheet over his head in the fucking window.
That's literally what it is.
I know. I love it. Honestly, I think I might be excited to watch this movie. The last 2, fuck that.
I was excited for Frankenstein's Island.
Look at how wrong you were.
All right. God. So next week, 2016's Bad Ben. Until then, sleep tight, suckers. The power.
As soon as we finished that, I was like, are we going to laugh? Are we going to power? And then
I said both.
Thankful you did. Yeah, I'm thankful you laughed because I got the power. Fucking Christ.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Spoiler Sleepover. But the fun doesn't stop there. Go follow us over on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And of course, check out our sponsor, Gore Clown, and use code SLEEPOVER for 15% off any Spoiler Sleepover merch. So until next time, sleep tight, suckers!
Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!